Lady Caroline Montgomery glared at the body farther down the beach and let out a snort of aggravation. 5 minutes ago, she'd thought being shipwrecked alone on a tropical island was the worst thing that could have happened to her. She'd been wrong. So wrong. Being shipwrecked alone would have been delightful in comparison. She was clever, resourceful, and accustomed to challenging situations such as this. Alone, she would have been fine. Fate, however, hadn't granted her that small mercy. Not content with sending a typhoon to wreck the Artemis and separate her from her beloved family, the cruel universe had saddled her with him. Maximillian Cavendish. His Grace, the 14th Duke of Hayworth. The most infuriating man on 7 continents and the very last creature Caro would have chosen as a fellow survivor, including the Artemis's pig, which she'd affectionately named the Duke of Pork. Hayworth lay on his side, his face turned away from her, but there was no mistaking his dark tousled hair or those improbably broad shoulders. For such an indolent scoundrel, he'd a remarkably healthy physique. Caro stomped toward him along the sand, her damp skirts hampering her strides, and tried to squash the tiny kernel of panic at the stillness of his giant frame. "You'd better not be dead," she panted crossly. He didn't move when her shadow fell across his face, so she prodded him, none too gently, with the toe of her boot. "Hayworth, are you dead?" He wasn't. She could see his shoulder rising and falling as he breathed, and a knot of something she refused to label as relief loosened inside her. She told herself it was because she didn't want to be saddled with a corpse. Still, he seemed to be unconscious. Considering how obnoxious the man was when awake, she would have preferred to leave him that way, but Caro supposed she had a moral obligation to rouse him. She poked him again in the ribs. He let out a low groan, but his eyes remained closed. Caro dropped to her knees beside him, grasped his shoulder, and gave him a hard shake. The muscles beneath the wet material of his jacket were incredibly solid. She tried not to notice. "Wake up, you insufferable oaf! It's too hot to dig you a grave."